everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Channel. We're really happy you're spending your time learning English with us today. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Jake. Hi friends, it's great to have you here again. Whether you're listening at home, walking somewhere, or relaxing quietly, we're glad you're learning English with us.
And today we have a very interesting and relatable topic.
That's right. Today we're going to talk about being introverted or extroverted.
More specifically, we'll talk about how to describe your personality as introverted or extroverted in English.
This is a very common topic in conversations.
People often ask questions like, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Or they might say, I'm more of an introverted person.
Talking about personality helps people understand each other better.
And it's also useful in social situations, friendships, and even job interviews.
So learning how to talk about this topic clearly in English is very helpful. Before we begin, if you enjoy learning English with calm and natural conversations like this, please subscribe to Chill English Channel.
Subscribing helps us continue creating relaxed and useful English lessons for you.
All right, Jake, I have a question for you.
I was expecting that.
Don't worry, it's a simple one.
Okay, I'm ready.
Would you say you are more introverted or more extroverted?
That's a good question.
Take your time.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle.
Interesting.
But if I had to choose, I would say I'm slightly more introverted.
Really? That might surprise some people.
Yes, because I can be talkative.
That's true.
But I also enjoy spending time alone.
What do you like about being introverted?
I like having quiet time to think and relax.
That makes sense.
I also feel more comfortable in small groups rather than large crowds.
That's a common trait of introverted people.
What about you, Sophia?
I think I'm more extroverted.
That doesn't surprise me,
Why do you say that?
because you seem very comfortable talking with people.
That's true. I enjoy conversations and meeting new people.
What do you like about being extroverted?
I like being around others. It gives me energy.
That's a key difference.
Yes, extroverted people often feel energized by social interaction.
While introverted people may feel tired after too much socializing.
Exactly.
But it's important to remember something.
What's that?
Being introverted or extroverted is not about being shy or confident.
That's a very important point.
Introverted people can be confident.
And extroverted people can sometimes feel shy.
It's more about where you get your energy from.
That's a simple and clear way to understand it.
Introverts usually recharge by spending time alone.
And extroverts recharge by spending time with others.
Now, let's look at how you can talk about this in English.
A common question is, are you introverted or extroverted?
You can answer in a simple way.
For example, I'm more introverted.
Or, I'm more extroverted.
You can also give a balanced answer.
For example, I think I'm a mix of both.
Or, I'm somewhere in between.
These answers sound very natural.
But we can make them better by adding more detail.
Yes, adding a reason makes your answer more interesting.
Here is a useful pattern. I would say I'm more blank because blank.
For example, I would say I'm more introverted because I enjoy spending time alone.
Or, I would say I'm more extroverted because I like meeting new people.
Notice how the second part explains the reason.
That makes your sentence clearer and more natural.
Here is another useful pattern.
The pattern is, I feel more comfortable blank.
For example, I feel more comfortable in small groups.
Or, I feel more comfortable talking to new people.
These sentences help you describe your personality in real situations.
Now let's look at some common vocabulary.
The word introverted describes someone who enjoys quiet time.
Someone who prefers being alone or in small groups.
The word extroverted describes someone who enjoys social interaction.
Someone who feels energized when they are around people.
Another useful word is outgoing.
An outgoing person is friendly and likes talking to others.
You can say, she is very outgoing.
Another useful word is quiet.
For example, he is a quiet person.
You can also say reserved.
Reserved means someone who does not share their thoughts easily.
Let's look at some example sentences.
I am a quiet person and I enjoy spending time alone.
I'm quite outgoing and I love meeting new people.
I'm a bit reserved, especially with people I don't know well.
These sentences help you describe yourself more clearly.
Talking about personality is very useful in everyday conversations.
Because it helps people understand how you think and behave.
It also helps you connect with others,
Because you can find people who are similar to you.
or understand people who are different from you,
And that makes conversations more meaningful.
because you're not just talking about what you do.
You're talking about who you are. One interesting thing about being introverted or extroverted is that it affects how people behave in different situations.
That's very true. The way you interact with others often depends on your personality,
For example, let's think about social events.
like parties or group gatherings.
An extroverted person might feel excited in that situation.
They may enjoy talking to many people and being part of a large group.
They might even start conversations with strangers.
On the other hand, an introverted person may feel a little overwhelmed.
They might prefer talking to one or two people instead of a big group.
Or they may enjoy leaving early to have some quiet time.
And both reactions are completely normal.
Exactly. There is no better personality.
It's just about what makes you feel comfortable.
Let's talk about another situation.
Working or studying.
Some people enjoy working in teams.
They like sharing ideas and discussing things with others,
These people are often more extroverted.
while others prefer working alone.
They like focusing quietly without distractions.
These people are often more introverted.
But again, this is not always strict.
Yes, many people are flexible.
They can enjoy both group work and individual work.
That's why some people describe themselves as ambivert.
That's a useful word.
An ambivert is someone who has both introverted and extroverted qualities.
For example, I think I'm an ambivert because I enjoy both social time and quiet time.
That sounds very natural.
Let's introduce another useful question.
The question is, how do you feel in social situations?
This question helps you explain your personality in more detail.
For example, someone might say, I feel comfortable when I'm with close friends.
Or, I feel nervous in large groups.
Another useful question is, do you enjoy being around people?
Someone might answer, yes, I enjoy being around people. It gives me energy.
Or, I enjoy it sometimes, but I also need time alone.
That kind of answer sounds very natural.
Let's build a longer example.
I would say I'm more introverted.
I feel more comfortable in small groups.
I enjoy spending time alone because it helps me relax.
That answer is clear and complete.
Now let's talk about energy.
This is a very important idea.
Extroverted people often gain energy from social interaction.
For example, I feel energized when I talk to people.
Introverted people often lose energy in busy social situations.
For example, I feel tired after spending too much time in crowds.
But they regain energy by being alone.
For example, I feel better after spending some quiet time alone.
These expressions are very useful.
Because they help you explain your feelings clearly.
Let's talk about another useful phrase.
The phrase is, I need some time to recharge.
For example, after a long day, I need some time to recharge.
This is commonly used by introverted people.
But anyone can use it.
Another useful expression is, I enjoy socializing.
For example, I enjoy socializing with friends.
Or, I enjoy socializing, but not too much.
That sounds very natural.
Now, let's talk about describing comfort levels.
You can say, I feel comfortable,
For example, I feel comfortable talking with people I know well.
or I feel comfortable speaking in front of a small group.
You can also say, I feel uncomfortable.
For example, I feel uncomfortable in very large crowds.
These expressions are useful in many situations.
Not just for personality.
Let's also look at a few adjectives.
The word sociable.
A sociable person enjoys being with others.
For example, she is very sociable and friendly.
Another word is talkative.
For example, he is very talkative and enjoys conversations.
The opposite can be quiet.
Or shy.
For example, I'm a bit shy when I meet new people.
Another useful word is confident.
For example, she is confident when speaking in public.
Let's build another full example.
I think I'm more extroverted.
I enjoy socializing and meeting new people.
I feel comfortable in group conversations.
Being around people gives me energy.
That answer sounds very natural.
Because it clearly explains personality and feelings.
When people talk about being introverted or extroverted, they're often describing how they experience the world.
And how they connect with others.
It's not about being good or bad.
It's just about being different.
And understanding these differences can make communication easier.
And more respectful.
Because you start to understand how other people feel.
And why they behave in certain ways.
That's what makes conversations more meaningful. Now that we've talked about introverted and extroverted personalities, let's focus on how you can describe yourself clearly in English.
Yes, this is where you can start building more complete and natural answers.
Many English learners know words like introverted and extroverted.
But sometimes they are not sure how to explain their personality in detail.
That's why learning a few useful sentence patterns can really help.
Let's start with a very common pattern.
The pattern is, I would describe myself as blank.
For example, I would describe myself as an introverted person.
Or, I would describe myself as quite extroverted.
This sounds natural and is often used in conversations and interviews.
Now, let's improve it by adding more detail.
The pattern becomes, I would describe myself as blank because blank.
For example, I would describe myself as introverted because I enjoy spending time alone.
Or, I would describe myself as extroverted because I like meeting new people.
Adding a reason makes your answer clearer and more interesting.
Let's look at another useful pattern.
The pattern is, I tend to blank.
For example, I tend to enjoy quiet environments.
Or, I tend to talk a lot when I'm with friends.
This pattern is very useful when describing habits and behavior.
Another helpful structure is, I usually blank.
For example, I usually prefer small groups.
Or, I usually enjoy being around people.
These simple patterns help you sound more natural.
Now, let's build a longer and more complete answer.
For example, I would describe myself as more introverted.
I usually prefer quiet places and small groups.
I enjoy spending time alone because it helps me relax and think.
That answer sounds clear and natural.
Because it includes personality, behavior, and reason.
Let's talk about some common mistakes learners make.
Mistake number 1 is using very short answers.
For example, I am introvert.
This sentence is not correct.
The correct sentence is, I am an introvert.
Or even better, I'm an introverted person.
Another common mistake is not adding enough detail.
For example, I am extroverted.
That is correct, but it sounds incomplete.
It's better to say, I am extroverted because I enjoy talking to people.
Another mistake is confusing personality with mood.
For example, someone might say, I am quiet today, so I am introverted.
But being quiet sometimes does not mean you are introverted.
Personality is more about your general behavior over time.
Let's also talk about a few useful expressions.
One common expression is, I'm more of a blank person.
For example, I'm more of an introverted person.
Or, I'm more of an outgoing person.
Another useful phrase is, it depends on the situation.
For example, I'm sometimes introverted, but it depends on the situation.
This is a very natural way to give a balanced answer.
Another helpful phrase is, I feel more like myself when blank.
For example, I feel more like myself when I'm in a quiet place.
Or, I feel more like myself when I'm with my friends.
These expressions help you describe your personality more deeply.
Let's look at a full example using several patterns.
I would describe myself as an ambivert.
I enjoy spending time with people, but I also need quiet time.
I'm comfortable in small groups, but I can also be talkative with friends.
It really depends on the situation,
That answer sounds very natural and balanced.
because it shows flexibility and self-understanding.
Now it's time for a little practice.
If you can, try answering these questions out loud.
First question, are you more introverted or extroverted?
Second question, why do you feel that way?
Third question, in what situations do you feel most comfortable?
Try using the sentence patterns we practiced today.
For example, I would describe myself as blank because blank.
Or, I feel more comfortable, blank.
Practicing out loud will help you become more confident.
And it will help you remember the vocabulary more easily.
Before we finish, let's quickly review what we talked about today.
We discussed introverted and extroverted personalities.
We learned how to describe personality in English.
We practiced useful sentence patterns.
We also talked about common mistakes to avoid.
Most importantly, we practiced expressing ourselves clearly and naturally.
Now it's time for our question of the day.
Are you more introverted or extroverted? And why do you think so?
Write your answer in the comments. You can start your sentence like this. I would describe myself as blank because blank.
We always enjoy reading your answers.
It's a great way to practice your English.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to Chill English channel.
Subscribing helps us continue creating calm and useful English lessons for you.
Keep practicing a little every day.
And remember, learning English is a journey.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time.